couldn't drift that corner. Still though, still.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we got our special guest, Joshy Poo, over there, taking pictures of God knows what. And Josh brought along his Miata, which you've probably seen in previous videos. So what we want to do is we want to compare the Miata to the Del Sol, because the Del Sol back in '93 was made to compete with Mazda's Miata. Now, obviously there's a few differences, and just in size alone, the Del Sol is actually a little bit bigger. And the Del Sol is front wheel drive, it's got a bigger trunk, it actually has a little more space in general, but again, it's a bigger car. So we want to just drive both of them back to back, compare them, because we each drive our own cars, pretty good amount of times throughout the week. They're not our dailies, but we drive them a pretty considerable amount. So we're going to go ahead and go through each of them and compare them as best we can, and hope that maybe if you're looking for one of these two cars, this will help you make your final decision. So let's get into it. All right, so Josh has had this car for about 2.5 years. I'm gonna have him kind of just walk you through what he likes about it and what he doesn't like about it.
I don't even know where to begin. There's a lot to talk about. But yeah, like you said, I've had it for about 2.5 years. Haven't really done much to it besides I did the interior. Like, I put a head unit in the car, did some interior paint and stuff because it was all really dull and worn out. I put a Momo steering wheel in it. Got the horn working on that, not a big deal. It came with these wheels. I kind of want to do new wheels, won't end up doing that. Did an exhaust, it was an eBay exhaust. It was like 170 bucks, best 170 bucks ever spent on this car. Sounds really ricey, really throaty for how much I paid for it. What I really like about it though is, I don't know anything that anybody else would say about a Miata. It drives really well, it's stiff, it shifts great, look of it, like it's the most iconic kind of JDM car you can get for the most part, especially in this price range and for its year, besides maybe like an RX-7 or like a GTR. I don't know, it just fits everything I need. It's not a daily, obviously. It doesn't have all the luxuries you'd expect from like the car that I have now, which is a 2020 Civic Si. So I don't have my infotainment system that I would like, or AC, wish I had that in this car. But just a nice weekend car, top down, cruise, play some tunes. Couldn't really ask for much, especially for the price point. I don't know, Ryan, what do you like about it?
I mean, I've driven it a handful of times, as you've been there, all of them. Mm-hmm. And the biggest thing for me with this car is that the Miata is rear-wheel drive. That comes in clutch for a lot of things. It's nice to have. It makes it a little more fun to drive in certain circumstances. But the biggest thing that I would say that I like about the Honda better is the fact that it has the better engine. So what does this make out of the box, like 90?
I think it's 98 horsepower from the factory.
98 horsepower from the factory on the Miata 30 years ago. So he's lost a couple horses from that stable since then.
Probably 85 now, 85 to 90.
Probably 85 to 90. Honda, this is the B16 engine, so this is the best one you could get for that year. This one makes 160 horsepower. It's a 1.6. I think this is also a 1.6, isn't it?
1.6, yeah.
1.6. So they're both 1.6 engines, and you're looking at roughly almost 70 horsepower difference between the two of them.
Thanks to VTEC.
Thanks to VTEC. Well, even with the D series they made less than that, but still it's to me that is what makes this car enjoyable. Now obviously if you could pair this with a rear wheel drive setup, it would just be even better, but Honda just seems to love making things front wheel drive, which is fine. That's what you're good at, stick to it, I guess. But I've had this car for just over a year now. It is my daily, actually it is more my daily driver, that's why I bought it. It gets great gas mileage, similar with Josh's Miata. Top comes off, really good, fun on a nice sunny day. It has decent storage in it for what I would need. It is very comfortable. I've taken it on long drives, I've driven it, I mean I daily drive it. I used to drive it over an hour to work every day. It's pretty comfortable to sit in. Much like the Miata, no fancy amenities. It's very basic. It was 94 when this thing came out. So, you're looking at just a radio, and it actually had a tape deck out of the factory. That was taken out by the previous owner, and they put in an aftermarket system, which is really nice. You can plug your phone in and stuff and listen to music, so that's nice. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it's nothing crazy. It's a very basic car. They're both manuals. They both shift well, and they're both 5 speeds. So all in all, I think that they're a really good comparison. I think what it's going to come down to after driving both of them again is going to be whether you want to have the bigger engine and front wheel drive. If you can find a VTEC model, they only made 10,000 in the US between 94, because 94 was the first year for it. Between 94 and 97, they made 10,000 of these. So there's not as many of them out there, but they also only made 70,000 Del Sols total for the US between those years. So they didn't make that many Del Sols anyway. But still, 10,000 is a pretty decent amount. I'm sure you can find one out there. I've seen quite a few since then. So that's going to be the biggest thing for me, I think, is whether you want a full convertible, which the Miata is, or you want the target top, which the Del Sol is. So let's hop into these, and you want to drive this one first?
Yeah, I'll take it for a spin.
All right, we're going to have Josh Poo take this one out for a spin first and see how he, you know, back to back, because he just drove the Miata here, how it is compared to the Miata. Wow!
Wow.
Listen to that, 1.6. You do love the VTEC.
It does.
You do.
It's just like so distinct too.
Yeah. Oh, it's very distinct.
It's like a turbo kicking in. It's even faster though. No. Why is that babe driving a fucking truck?
Couldn't tell you. Why are you
Oh.
driving a girl's car?
Wow, corner's really nice. Wow.
Wow. And this is all stock. You know, so this is actually a pretty fair comparison, because this is an all stock setup.
Both of ours are all stock.
Yeah. Well, you just have tires that are probably a little better. This has a little more body roll because it's.
Yeah. But
you have newer suspension though, don't you? Isn't that a little bit newer?
It's whatever Dex had in it.
Yeah.
It's the previous owner. Yeah.
This is a.
But it's nothing crazy. It's not like lowering springs or anything. It's just like newer shocks.
Oh, is that all it is?
It's not lowering.
I always forget. I always feel like it had like lowering springs in it, but I forgot it didn't.
This like really lets you feel the steering though.
It does. No,
the
this
Miata's definitely more pinpoint though.
You think so?
100%. This
Okay.
feels like if I did that on the Miata, I'd be hitting both tree lines.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
like,
That's something that we'll have to look for when I'm driving it.
Yeah,
I'm
go
interested
ahead.
now.
Like, there's no plan. Like, basically, maybe like that much.
Mm-hmm.
This way more. I can do that much with barely moving. So.
I wonder why that is. I wonder if that has anything to do with the fact that it's front wheel drive.
Maybe. I like the interior better on this though. At least it looks better.
It's also much bigger in here than in your car. Like,
it's way bigger. Like between my seats and stuff. Like I don't have that at all.
No.
Like the space between us.
Yeah, it's very tight in your car.
It definitely gets up and goes faster.
Oh well.
Definitely gets up and goes faster.
It also revs. Well, how? Yours doesn't have a rev limiter, does it? Does it just keep going?
It'll bounce.
It'll bounce eventually.
Yeah,
what does it bounce off of?
We'll
have to find out.
I was gonna say, we can test it.
Because this revs up to 82.
It's definitely not that high. I think it's like around 65 to 7.
Oh, okay, so it's a decent distance.
It's like when it starts bouncing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like red line on, yeah, I think it's about 6K red line.
It starts redlining.
Yeah.
All right, take it to redline. Yeah, they don't have these laws down here.
No. Quick little ride to San Juan. Well, San Juan's Puerto Rico. Fuck. Fuck.
Yeah, that's not Mexico.
My geology is a little.
It's not as good as your engineering.
No. Nah, Will's the guy.
So much oil.
That's probably an easy quart.
Safe to say that you enjoy the high rev range, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty safe bet to make.
Yeah. I think overall, though, it definitely drives better than the Miata.
Overall, it drives better than the Miata.
Yeah. Like, if you're making a bunch of, like, tight turns and stuff, the Miata is probably more fun because it's more, like, you know, just darting into corners, better at that. But overall,
and rear-wheel drive is the superior drivetrain for, you know, curvy roads and things like that.
Like, I feel like I could drive this across the country and be like, whatever. I wouldn't want to drive the Miata across country. I don't even want to drive the Miata the hour and a half down to Cape Cod.
Now, why is it? Is it just because of the condition it's in? Like
that's partially it.
If you could go with this,
definitely the
if you could put
condition.
if these were equally good condition, do you think that you'd still pick the Del Sol over the Miata? Like, I mean,
Like
is
if I
this
could
more
get them
comfortable?
both brand new out of the box, which one would I take?
Yeah.
I'd probably take the Del Sol.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, I'd probably take the Del Sol. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. I
It's
feel
very,
like
it's a little more
complete
roomy.
package.
It's a little bit, yeah.
The Miata feels more like, literally like a pussy sports car, but it has all the amenities that you would want in a sport, or all the amenities that you don't get in a sport car, you don't get in the Miata too. You know what I mean? Like,
I guess that's fair.
At least in this, it feels like a regular car with that sporty aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Miata
Right, because I
doesn't feel
mean,
like
at
a
the end of the day,
regular car.
it's just a Civic with a removable top.
Yeah.
So I can't remember the last time I drove this Miata.
2 months ago.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was 2 months ago.
Nice and gentle.
That's something that you don't really get with the Honda.
What?
The struggled start.
It's not a struggle, it's just a nice and gentle. It doesn't want to scare you. Sounds better.
It really doesn't sound all that bad. I've always been surprised by that. Oh, you're right.
Do you see what I mean? Like, you don't have that
it's a
jiggle.
much
like-
sharper, much more pinpointed steering rack than mine. Now, I don't know if it's just how you have the seat position. This just feels like it has a much more upright position.
That is
than
as
mine.
far back and as far down as
This
it
is
will
as
go.
far back as it goes. This is
Yeah,
something
well,
that I always forget about. Because my head actually pokes out over the top a little bit.
Me too, yeah.
That's something to keep in mind if you're looking between these two cars. If you're a bit of a taller individual, the Del Sol might also be a good reason to go for that, because these are, I mean, I'm 6'1", and my head does kind of poke out over the top a little bit.
Yeah, you'd have to get like bucket seats. Because you could buy like
You can buy
racing
lowered
seats.
buckets. Yeah, they sit a little lower.
That's what I mean, but they're like really indented buckets.
Yeah. But they might not be as comfortable as these,
No.
you know what I mean?
I mean,
That's
but
the
these
thing,
aren't
you're
that comfy
sacrificing
anyway.
comfort. Yeah, they're really not. They don't hold you in very well either.
No, the bolsters are like almost non-existent.
The Honda seats actually do hold you in pretty well. I've
Yes.
always been impressed by those. They have good bolsters.
Surprisingly, because they don't even have to be like that, but
No,
they
they
made them
don't.
like a...
They made them good. That's why so many people swap those seats and everything else. Also, they just look kind of cool. Sounds like you're going 110 miles an hour. We're going like 30.
35,
We're going.
yeah.
We're actually going 35. That's not an exaggeration. It's not a lie. It's not for filming. We're going 35.
And it
That's
sounds like
how
you're easy.
slow this car truly is. Much stiffer suspension. You
Much,
definitely
much.
feel the bumps a lot more with this one. Woohoo! I never heard a pop out of this thing. Seven and a half.
Yeah,
That's where she red lines.
there you go. I feel like the shifting is way more fun and smooth.
Way
in this
more
car.
fun in this car.
Yeah.
It's a much shorter throw.
Yeah.
Much crisper, much tighter. Little rub.
Little rubbing.
Flash your headlights.
But yeah, see, for a road like that, Miata all fucking day.
That's the thing right there with just that alone. I mean, this car. See, I take this one.
Really?
Yeah, I take this one. This car to me, it handles better. I'd be maybe when the Honda's done, maybe when I finally get to the suspension and get to the wheels and the tires and everything, and I stiffen it up a little bit and bring it more up to par with this.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll say something different, but I can't argue with how tight the steering is on these.
Yeah.
I can't argue with how responsive it is. It might be slow, but it's such a good momentum car,
It's
like
just
everybody
stupid
always
fun,
says.
yeah.
It's so much fun in the corners. It just handles better. But again, I wish
You're
that
the
I,
daily drive one.
Yeah, no, I do 100%.
Really?
Oh, the daily drive it?
If you're the
The
daily drive
daily
one.
drive it?
If you're the daily drive one, which one? Like you had to drive it every day, weather permitting.
Well, no. Yeah, I'm taking that into consideration. I might go Honda for that.
That's what I'm saying. Because that's what I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about a weekend warrior.
I know, but I'm just like, I love driving this thing.
Yeah.
You know that. Every time I get into it, I have so much fun. This car is an absolute blast to drive anywhere. Does this steering wheel go up anymore?
Nope, the steering wheel is non-adjustable in any direction.
Really?
Nope.
I mean, at least it's
up, down, nothing.
At least it's in a somewhat decent point, but like my knees constantly bump the steering.
Well, that's why I went for the aftermarket wheel. It's smaller.
Oh, this is smaller than the other one?
Yes. Yes.
God.
Why did Mazda do that?
Wow, Mazda, you messed up.
It's only like an inch smaller, but it's like, it's bearable. Yeah, you couldn't drift that corner. You should have. Should have tried. Still.
All right, so all in all, if we're talking daily driver, right, which is what that is, you're going Del Sol.
If I had to drive it every day, I'd take the Del Sol.
Okay.
If I'm doing a weekend warrior car,
it's got to be this.
Yeah.
Personally, I mean, I'd agree with you 100% on the daily driver. I love that. But yeah, I think if I'm going weekend car, I might have to go. That's what it comes down to, is what performs better. And the problem is that does have a much better engine in it. That car handles very, very well for what it is, and you can still throw it into corners pretty well.
Yeah.
But there's something about this car that when you throw it into a corner, it's just more well balanced.
Yeah. And I mean, I would almost disagree with you on the engine. Like, they're both like equally reliable. Like, these are no.
Oh, no. I mean power wise.
Power wise? Yeah, but do you need more power in this?
Yeah.
You'd want more power still?
100%. You think I wouldn't want it? It makes
I get
90 horsepower.
It still feels like a lot, though.
Yeah.
For no reason. It feels like a lot.
Well, because it doesn't weigh anything.
Exactly. And it's tiny as fuck.
And that makes 160. And it's still really slow.
It's heavier. Longer.
Yeah, it is a much bigger car.
Not much, but big enough.
Yeah. But, all right, well, there you have it. If you're looking for a weekend car, looks like we're going with the Miata. If you're looking for something to drive more often, take the wife out, go on a little weekend vacation, put some stuff in and everything like that, Del Sol's going to be your car. That's what it comes down to. So we really can't give you much more information than that.
Yeah.
That's really pretty good.
And if you want the wife to love it, don't put an exhaust on it.
If you want the wife to love it, don't put an exhaust on anything ever.
Yeah.
That's what it comes. Unless she likes exhaust, then, go ahead and put the big fat tip out the back. But
then she should hopefully already be your wife, yeah.
Yeah, at that point, then I mean, you wouldn't even have really had to have a second date at that point. If that's what she says she likes, it's already wife material. But yeah, that's what it comes down to. It's really gonna whatever you want to use the car for. So there you have our opinions, and now you have to go out and buy one of them.
You don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice. You have to buy one of them. So we will catch you in the next episode. Have a great rest of the day. Upload every Sunday and Wednesday, and I'll see you in the next one. Scooch out.